Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here. Look, if you're trying to figure out what should be my first business credit card as a beginner, well, there's a couple things that you need to decide in terms of, do you want an EIN credit card, or do you want to use your SSN, basically a personal guarantee, right? So you need to determine this. Now, what will determine that you get either of these? You also have to ask yourself, do I want a FICO 8 card? Do I want a FICO 9 credit card? Or do I want a Vantage 3 or 4 credit card? Okay? This is what I mean about beginning. You need to know exactly what it is and what's your situation before you're going after a business credit card as a beginner. Now, here's something else. I always tell people, well, what's on your business and personal credit file? Meaning, what type of revolving accounts do you have on your personal credit file or your business credit file? Now, here's the thing about it. If you're brand new, okay, you don't have nothing on your business credit file. You don't have net 30s. You don't have a beginning business credit card, a charge card, or something like that. Then you may not want to be looking at your EIN. Now, there are a few cards, okay, that we're going to talk about that may allow you to just use your EIN. However, most of the time I tell people, in order for you to get EIN only credit cards, you have to have revenue in the business. Now, does that mean you have to have a lot of revenue in the business? Absolutely not. But you do usually have to have revenue in the business. Now, here's the thing about it. I always ask people, it's your banking relationship. Who are you banking with? Who do you bank with? How long have you been banking with them? That also plays a factor. And the type of factor, what I mean, is that it's going to determine if you get less than 10K or greater than 10K. Okay? So that's the reason I asked you. So in terms of you as a beginner, are you using major banks? Are you using community banks? Are you using credit unions? Are you using fintech banks? So now you have a variety of what you should start out. Now, what would my suggestion be if I was starting out as a beginner and I needed to know where to start at? My thing is, I always tell people, is you always want to have one of the major banks, okay? And so your major banks would be like Chase, okay? Citibank, right? Capital One. These are my top 3. Yes, of course you have BOFA and AmEx, right? And of course, you have some others, but we're just going to talk about these top 5 here, right? These are the ones that most people know. Now, here's the thing about it. I always tell people, you need one of these major banks in your revolving system, because these major banks, Chase, Citibank, Capital One, these here institutions are the ones that report to most of the business credit bureaus. Now, in terms of your business credit bureaus, we're talking about Experian Business, Equifax Business, Small Business Financial Exchange. And then that information is picked up with Dun and Bradstreet. Okay? So Chase, Citibank, Capital One would be my top 3. Now, in reference to Bank of America and Amex, they report to Small Business Financial Exchange, and then that information is picked up usually with Experian and Dun and Bradstreet. Now, does Dun and Bradstreet play a factor in terms of you getting a business credit card? No. All right. I'm just telling you, 95 to 98% of the time, they're not a factor when it comes to business funding, business credit cards. Okay. So in terms of, do you need a paydex score or something like that? No, No, you don't need a paydex score. You don't need business credit. Now, does it help? Absolutely, because the more trade lines you have on your business credit file, the more potential you have to get higher lines of business credit, okay? And we're going to explain that. Now, some of the things that I always tell people, if you're not going to do a PG and you want EIN, what would be the institutions that you would look at as a start out bank? So, with your start out banks, and you wanted a business credit card as startup. So you have the BOFA, business secured, right? But you may not want to put up money, okay? So that's why you also have a First National Bank of Omaha. They offer a business secured card as well. Again, like I said, if you're on a tight budget, but you have a decent credit score, you may not want to do secured credit cards, all right? Now, in terms of when I talked about whether you're going to do a FICO 8 card, FICO 9, or a Vantage Score cards, these here, Chase, Citibank, Capital One, Bank of America, AmEx, these are your FICO 8 cards, okay? And if you don't have a high volume of revenue, then more likely you're going to get less than $10,000 in funding with these institutions, okay? When starting out, because you don't have a high volume of revenue in the business. So that's the reason I'd say to people that although you need one of these to help you build up the business credit file and stuff like that, you do not want to start with them for as your first business credit card. All right. And by the way, this is like your tier 1. Okay. So I put it over here. Tier 1. So you do not want to start with the tier 1s. All right. Now, in terms of do you have any banking deposits? Again, goes back to the relationship for your business. Is there any real business deposits and stuff? If they're not, then you don't want to go for those. Now, in terms of cards that EIN only, so for those that just want to know, but if you're brand new, then you have like Bill.com, okay, aka Divvy. All right. So you have Divvy, then you have Capital on Tap, all right. Then you have Torpago, all right. And so you have many cards that will actually give you a business credit card. And some of these are like charge card. Like Divvy is a charge card. Capital One is a revolving. Fargo is a charge card. So that means that you would have revenue in the business and they're willing to give you income. They're willing to give you a business credit card, okay? So similar to your secured cards, right? And so with the charge card, basically, with these type of charge cards, is basically you're going to use the card and then within 30 days, you're going to have to pay it back, all right? So that's the reason I tell you guys that starting out, I would not be focusing on the EIN. I wouldn't focus on these, okay? My FICO 8s. Don't focus on those. This is where you want to focus, here and here, right? And the reason is because these are your easiest business credit cards. Now, why are they your easiest business credit cards? Is because of 4 factors, all right? 1, you can add authorized users and they would accept it. You can add utilities, you can add subscriptions, and you can add rental payments to help boost up your FICO 9 and your Vantage score. That's the reason, like sometimes you look at your Credit Karma Vantage scores and it's higher, and it can be between 50 to 80 points higher. Again, because it doesn't match your FICO score, when you apply for that FICO 8 credit card, like with one of these financial institutions, and you're denied and you're scratching your head, is because they calculated those 4 instruments versus these FICO 8 bank, they do not calculate that. Okay, so put a comment if that makes sense and if this is helping you. Now, in terms of what would be some of the cards that I'm gonna go after, all right? So let's do a FICO 9. So with our FICO 9 cards, these are our low-hanging fruit. You have a U.S. bank, and it's a TransUnion FICO 9, right? That's a TransUnion FICO 9. Now, if you can't get into U.S. bank, then you want to do Elon Financial. All right, so with Elon Financial, this is their sister company. Since it's their sister company, you would have to go through some of your community banks like Bank of California. You can go through like Christian Community Credit Union, Connectus Credit Union, because they use TransUnion FICO 9. Okay, so that's a FICO 9. Then you have Wells Fargo. It's Experian FICO 9 for their business credit cards. All right. Now, you also have GM Business. Now, they may use TransUnion or they may use Equifax on the FICO 9. Okay. Now, GM Business is issued by Goldman Sachs. Okay. But this is one of your FICO 9 institutions as well. Then you have PNC, Experian FICO 9. All right, so you have these here that you can start with on the FICO 9. Then I also mentioned First National Bank of Omaha, Experian FICO 9. So those are your FICO 9. What about your Vantage 3 and 4? Okay, so with your Vantage 3 and 4, you have BMO, which is a regional bank. BMO being a regional bank, it uses TransUnion Vantage 4. Then you have BCU. This is Baxter Credit Union. You would have to join them through the Life Money U. Okay, when you join them through the Life Money U, what ends up happening, all right, they will waive that $5. Now, here's the thing about BCU. I always tell you guys to make sure you garden a relationship. So what that means is I will open up a checking account, a savings account, even maybe like a small CD or money market account, because they want to see long history. And then I would go for and also add the business account, okay? And then because it is a Vantage, now they also gonna do they may do a phone consultation as well in terms of wondering, why do you need this here card or whatever? But it's a Vantage card. So that's the reason that you want it. All right, then you have Veridian. All right, so with Veridian, this is a Vantage 3, okay? Now, Habitat of Humanities is how you would join them. You would join them through the Habitat of Humanities in order to, Now, they're going to do a video conference call, face-to-face call. So you have to keep that in mind. Now, you also have NASA. NASA also offers a business card in this Vantage 4. All right. They used to use a mortgage score, but now they started using more of your Vantage 4 score. In terms of other credit cards that you can get, now as a beginner, you can also get, I'm gonna put it here, which is NAV. It's the NAV Prime. All right. Now I'll put some of these in the link, but with the NAV Prime, it reports to Experian, Equifax, okay? They had been having issues with Dun & Bradstreet, but these here are more important than Dun & Bradstreet. Just keep that in mind. But they will give you a card with no deposit, no hard pull, okay? Even as a beginner, right? Then you have Fair Figure, okay? Excuse me. Oh, wow. So with Fair Figure, you need revenue in the business, right? So with Fair Figure needing revenue in the business, then you, no hard pull on the credit, just revenue. You're gonna need at least 2K or more. Now they offer 2K and up, Now, they would offer you, again, with revenue in the business, not looking at the personal credit, then they would offer you a business credit card as well. So even if you had bad credit, you still will be able to qualify for these two. As a matter of fact, if you qualify for these two, this is a total up to 4 business trade lines. So I have a link below, and people miss the opportunity for that, to have 4 business trade lines just from 2 accounts. It really helps the credit file. All right. Now, for those of you that may have questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.